Hey, this is David for Big Bits, and in this video we're going to take a look at another update for the Lightnite game, which is now going on several months here in development into 2020, where they have updated their dev blog several times now, and we are now on the April development blog update. They have a lot more updates for us, and this kind of is the summary of what they have accomplished in April, and there's a lot of really cool things, especially here just in the last few days that they've shared with us, and that is really the biggest thing that I've seen come from the project so far, other than the actual client that you can use to play, and that is the game assets. The skins are now tokens running on the Liquid sidechain. So for those of you who are familiar with what tokens are and how this relates to blockchain, this is actually a really big deal for the game itself. You're able to tokenize the skins and pretty much verify that there will only be so many, and that they are going to be owned by certain individuals who have those skins in their address on the sidechain. So it's actually a really cool concept that's pretty similar to a lot of things you've seen on Ethereum as far as tokens go. Some of you may be familiar with Kitties, which is a similar concept where you have a token for the cat in that particular game, and each cat is unique and owned by an individual. So this is very similar, and the way they're going to do this is it's actually going to be a token that has a supply. So the token itself can have up to so many number of actual objects of it, I suppose you should say, actual tokens using that particular token ID for that particular asset. So a skin might have 500 as its max supply. That means the most ever of that particular token that somebody can own, or that anyone can own total, is 500. So it's a pretty cool concept to bring blockchain into the actual game itself, beyond just the Bitcoin payments and rewards that you would see in the game itself. Now, you can actually see that they have made some updates on play.lightnite.io. They've added some more information, and the biggest thing is that they have added links to the Explorer that they have added for the assets. So we can actually go to their Skin Explorer, which will give us an idea on what's actually going on with this particular sidechain. So this is the Lightnite Explorer. It allows you to kind of browse the skins that they have and learn some of the information about them. Let's take a look at this Bureaucrat Blaster. Okay, so this particular skin, its full name, its category, its type, and its supply. So I talked about the supply earlier. This particular weapon is going to have a maximum supply of 500, and it is going to be verified using its token ID with its supply. Now you can click to view this in the Explorer, and it takes you to the Blockstream site for the Liquid sidechain. They're going to be using the Liquid sidechain with Blockstream, in partnership with Blockstream, to actually provide this sort of tokenization of the game assets, which is actually really cool. Now you can see that there's a lot more information in here regarding this, and you see an issuance transaction, and you'll be able to see all of the transaction information here as it actually happens. So let's go back to the actual blog here and continue on. Now they do plan to add withdrawals and deposits of the assets. So this is the blockchain concept of being able to withdraw your tokens and put them back in. So I read in their other article about NFTs that I was thinking about doing a video about, but I think we cover it pretty well enough here for the most part. But what is going on here is this is pretty much a blockchain concept where you can send your tokenized skin, so you can send that copy of the gun because it's a token. You can send that token to another address that maybe you or somebody else owns, and it is no longer a part of the game system because it's no longer owned by the address associated with the game. And you can actually send it back, so you can send it back to yourself or to other people, and whoever receives it will be able to use that asset in the game. And that's how it should work as far as I understand. Now they have also this is also one of the first UTXO-based NFT token explorers in Bitcoin history, and according to this actually is the first. So it's actually pretty cool. This is something that you see a lot with the Ethereum tokens. You can actually see a lot of information like this. So for example, if you were to go to the CryptoKitties website, you would see when you click on one, some of this information such as the token ID and other information like that. I think you can even see like the DNA information. There's a lot of information available on the particular token itself, and that's kind of what you're looking at here. Let's see. This was a really big deal, obviously, getting these two to work together, but they have of course partnered with Blockstream to do this, and this kind of goes over some of the things that I had mentioned before. It proves how scarce they are by giving them a maximum supply. It gives you a proof of ownership, so when this token says it belongs to you or this other person using your addresses, you'll know that it actually does because it's proven on the blockchain itself. And now there are actual conceptual differences between the game assets and the skins because of this. Now, another update that they've had, and if you've been following them, this will be pretty obvious, is that they have a lot of game art recently that's been added. And if you've been following their Twitter, like I have, you'll know that they have partnered with a lot of different crypto-related associations, organizations, however you want to call it. But they've added several new skins and items into the game that is in part due to these collaborations together. So the first one they added was this particular Crypto Cloaks character. Pretty neat. A Mr. Hodl character, a guy with a hoodie and a gas mask, it appears. And they also added their Magical Crypto Friends characters, which is based on that particular thing itself. So they've added that. They've also added some weapon skins. This is a Wasabi wallet rifle. If you're not familiar, Wasabi is a wallet for Bitcoin. It's been pretty popular here recently. They also added a spending Bitcoin pistol, which is colored after their spending Bitcoin logo. Now they've also started working on some minigame models. I shared with you a coronavirus model, which is kind of silly, but this is going to be a minigame that they're going to have in one of the, well, planned for the next release actually, where when it takes damage it cracks and then breaks eventually. So it's going to be interesting to see that in the next release there's actually going to be mini games, whereas on the very first release that we looked at about a month to a month and a half ago, really you could just kind of explore, walk around, get a feel for what's actually going on. Now they've also are working on some character customization. They are going to give you the ability to, in the game, to change the way your character looks. So you're going to be able to access all of these different things, all the different tokens, assets that you have access to in the game, and customize your character with that. Now they do plan to offer shopping in the client as well, but that is obviously something kind of a little bit further down the road. Now with the core mechanics, they've actually updated some of their technical functionality here with their new specification for their backend API, and they said they're doing this for more advanced features such as load balancing, which will, and if you're not familiar with load balancing, it's exactly as it sounds. When you're operating a server, you get a load of requests coming in, and if it's too much, they can balance that load amongst multiple servers and handle all their requests better, so that things don't get slowed down as they would, as you might expect, if there's like a bottleneck in the process. And they also have some communication encryption. You can think of this as like HTTPS as opposed to a regular HTTP protocol, where your communication back and forth between the API would be encrypted. And they also mentioned some other security measures such as local cache efficiency, etc. Now, onto the authentication, they are introducing a new login option, I should say, which is going to allow you to link your game with an existing profile. And it also is going to have a guest mode, but what's really important about linking the game to your existing profile is that you will be able to save progress across different devices. So depending on which platform you're using, which actual device you're using, I should say, you will be able to sync your progress and be able to access your account and your information no matter what device you're on. Now, the Satoshi's integration, the in-game balance now will reflect what's actually in your store balance. So on their next release, you should be able to see your balance that you have in the store. And in upcoming releases, the mini games are going to reward Satoshis for your gameplay. So if you haven't already gotten in on the pre-sale, you can use my link for that. It's in the description of the video. It gives you 20% off, which I believe makes it $20. Not $20. It was $20. It's 20% off, so now it's $16 worth of Bitcoin. And then, of course, there are some other rewards for doing that as well. Now, due to the Steam terms and services, when you use the Steam client to install and play the game, from there you will not be able to withdraw any of your Bitcoin from the game itself. So that's just kind of something that's unique to Steam that may not be necessarily true on other platforms. Now, they've also done a lot of work on the actual game prototype itself. Better movement, aim control, controller input, better camera, just a bunch of things that you would expect to see on your normal kind of game development. And let's see, bug fixes and minor improvements. This is what you would expect to see. Nothing major here as opposed to these other categories. I would imagine if there was something major that they probably would have broke it out into these other categories like they did. Now, they also have some new settings options, which is going to be really good because the original prototype didn't have hardly any, but of course that was the original prototype. So they are starting to increase the features and make things a little bit more accessible and more intuitive to actually use. You're going to get separate options for your controller type on what the controls do. You can toggle whether to invert the vertical axis or not, and this is kind of important because when I'm using a mouse and keyboard, I do not like an inverted axis, but when I'm playing on like a Xbox controller or something, for some reason I have to have it inverted. So that's going to be nice to have, and you will be able to adjust the look and aim sensitivity, which was one of the issues that I didn't really enjoy about the original prototype, but it's nice to see that's already being introduced in the very next one, and you can change your keyboard and mouse layout and redefine the gamepad layout. So a lot of stuff coming along here, but hopefully you can kind of get an idea of why I've been so excited about this game, particularly with the NFTs and its integration with the tokens and Bitcoin, particularly with the sidechain now. This is going to be something that is going to get a lot of attention in my opinion, and hopefully a lot of other people kind of hop on as well. I mean, as far as the previous bull run went, when Kitties became super popular, I mean, everybody, I mean, even, people who didn't know cryptocurrency were kind of talking about CryptoKitties. It was in the news. I mean, I think this game has that same potential to be sort of viral like that was, particularly if we do enter another bull run. And since this is based on Bitcoin, and Bitcoin gets all the news for the most part in the mainstream media, then I think this game really has a huge chance to gather a lot of attention and attract a lot of people to actually buy and participate with the game. So that's pretty much all for this video. I hope you enjoyed this update. I'm going to be continuing to keep up with this particular project. I'm a real big fan of it, and obviously I believe in it a lot. I think they're doing a great job, and hopefully they keep it up and continue to make something worthy of their vision. But other than that, I appreciate you for watching. If you liked the video, please like. Otherwise, if you like this video and you want to see more like it, just subscribe, because I'm going to be updating this project all the way until it is made completely public, and probably then some as well, because I do enjoy this one so far. Hopefully everything works out. But I am done now, and have a great day.